I used to like beat myself up with it. And I think a lot of empaths do that. They're just so hard on themselves.
You're just in the state of frustration and rage. You're giving me great things to use on the days I want to give you the silent treatment, gaslight you, manipulate you, project on you.
It's like these lies we tell ourselves. It's just like this self-abuse that we do. And we just don't feel good enough inside or secure enough inside.
I have it in my head that I'm going to set this boundary that once this happens, I will walk away. You will find that your body is not moving.
You don't realize that you're more likely the one to leave them than them leave you. They are not going to let you go. You're everything.
That's why not speaking words with a narcissist, the greatest gift you will give yourself is.
Have you ever felt powerless in the presence of a narcissist? What if I told you there's a way to reclaim your power without uttering a single word? In this episode, we're going to reveal the silent strategies that speak louder than words. Ready to take back control? Let's dive in. All right, Rain. So, how do you set boundaries with a narcissist? Like, what does that actually even look like?
Well, we all have a hard time setting boundaries, even with people who are not narcissistic. Like, that's mostly what us empaths and sensitives go through. So, just imagine with a narcissist who there's always going to be consequences, and they're not good consequences, and backlash to any kind of boundary must be terrifying to the body. So I remember I used to live in terror. My body was in terror to set boundaries. And so normally it would be sugarcoating a simple sentence like, could you pick up the kids? Could you take the garbage out? Sugarcoating it, like trying my best to say it in the nicest way possible in fear of the backlash. So that kind of programming in the body, also with another empath, you'll find it very difficult to set boundaries. So working through boundaries in general is not something easy that comes easily for us to do. However, when it comes to narcissists, it's just very important to be really aware that whatever you share as boundaries to the narcissist through your words, these are the weapons they use against you. Basically, narcs want to manipulate and control you because they feel out of control if they don't have somebody to control. The best way to control somebody is to dismiss them, to dismiss what they want, right? And to give them more of what they don't want. It makes a person powerless and makes them more confused and frustrated and angry. And when we're in a state of anger and frustration, you can't think coherently because you're not tuned to your intuition. You're not listening to your heart. You're not listening to your essence. You're not coherent with your mind. You're just in the state of frustration and rage. So you will sound like the crazy person, right? But that's where they push you towards when you don't have your boundaries. So just remember, when you express boundaries through words, it's like you're basically telling them, here, I'm letting you know all the things that I would like you to do, okay? And I'm giving it to you on a golden platter for you to take and make sure never to give it to me, okay? Make sure to constantly make me feel less of myself and fight for my right to have these boundaries. So the last thing you need to do with a narcissist, and this is great practice, is use your words to set boundaries. Now, we've been taught to express ourselves vulnerably and authentically so that others can respect us, can give us what we want. This is what we're taught. This type of teaching only and ever will work with another sensitive or an empath or a kind person, okay? This system only works with those kinds of beings. Why? Because those kinds of beings, as you speak, they really hear you and they tap into their emotional state, and they will respect what you have to say because they don't want to hurt your feelings, because they don't want their feelings hurt. There's like a back and forth. With narcissists, your words are their power. Okay. So the cool thing is with narcissists, they end up teaching you, instead of only saying your boundaries with words and not fulfilling it, when you're in a narcissistic relationship or narcissistic parents, you're going to have to teach yourself to cross the fear boundary of the consequences of setting boundaries and put it into actual action, where your words mean nothing anymore. So instead of sharing your boundaries with words with a narcissist, what you want to do is not say anything, okay? But you're going to say the words to yourself. So you're going to say, talk to me with respect. When I speak to you, look into my eyes, right? When I ask you for something, simply say yes. These are the things that you want. Let's say these are the boundaries you want. When I speak, respect when I'm talking. Look at me when I'm talking. If I call you, return my call at a decent time, like at least 15 minutes, an hour after, right? So you're trying to set these boundaries. These are your value system. Now they don't listen, right? They're going to, if you tell them, I want, call me please within an hour so that I can know what to do in whatever situation you're in, they're not going to call you in an hour. They might call you in an hour and 20 minutes. And then when you're like, but I told you within an hour, you're like, it's only 20 minutes more. I couldn't, what could I do? Right? They're always going to push you past um, your dignity, your self-respect. What you're going to do is you're not going to say these words. Okay. You're going to differentiate. You're going to have two compartments. You have the compartments of people who who understand your words, who empathize and compassion. And then you have the other department, which is the narcissist. They're teaching you how to take action with your words. Because it's not enough to say, you know what, do this for me. They'll talk to me with respect, but then they disrespect you and you're still in the presence. Then they talk to you bad and you're still standing there fighting for your right. If you believe that you deserve to be spoken to respectfully, what is the only way, only measure you can take to have that person accept it? Words mean nothing. My action, where I remove my body out of the space. I'm speaking, because this happened to me so many, I would be speaking, and the person would look away and get busy and go, huh, and as if I'm like nothing. What worked the best is halfway through I'm talking, I completely stop. I don't say, see, you're not listening again. I told you this is important for me. I da 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 da. From my parents, they used to ignore me and give the whole history of why you have this insecurity, right? Basically, this is your insecurity. What you're going to do is you're going to honor your own insecurity. It's okay, you have it. Honor your own insecurity and be like, oh, this person's ignoring me. I've asked them a million times. They're not doing it. I will remove myself from this scene. Now you're setting a very clear boundary. You're taking the action. You're respecting yourself now, right? You're not waiting for them to respect you and follow with the rule. You're doing it for you. So they're ignoring you. You pick up, you don't argue, you don't defend, you don't fix anything, because don't forget your words. They take them and they make sure to manipulate them and not give them to you. You're going to take your power back and you're going to just walk out of the room. You left and you were talking and I was talking and I didn't finish. Oh, okay. Are you ready to talk now? You start again. They do the same thing. You remove yourself. You don't go into the whole, but I was talking, you ignored me, and I told you a million times, therefore I'm taking the action. You don't have to use words with narcissists. It really is very much an action. And the beauty in this is that we empaths are terrified of taking these actions. It's like we always want permission from somebody else to give us permission to respect our own boundaries. Like we'll verbalize our own boundary and we're waiting for permission. Like, will they fulfill it? Will they fulfill it? Because if they fulfill it, then I'm cool with it. We're waiting for others to give us permission. Now, what if you give yourself permission? You know, this is my boundary. These are my limitations. This is my self-respect. Okay. When they don't do this, if I ask for this and they do this, then I do this for me. I will walk away. I will stop talking. I will get interested in something else, right? I'll take a break. I'll go paint. I'll call a friend. You do something where you show the action of it. Now they don't have the words, so they're not going to be able to use it against you. They're not going to be like, you know what? Halfway through talking, you just left the room. It was your fault. I could have finished talking. You didn't give me a chance. I was contemplating what you were saying, right? Gaslighting you to believe that they were actually listening. You can just move, be like, oh, I thought of something. I got busy. So basically, the way in which you can do it without actually saying a single word is making sure that you follow through with your own rules. Now, the biggest challenge is, and it really hurts, I remember I would get so scared that I'd feel my heart was beating in my throat, right? Because I was so scared of the consequence. I wouldn't know, like, if I do remove myself from the scene, what's going to happen? What if he never comes to ask me? What if I'm completely ignored and I've done all this? And then I have to remind myself, I'm not doing it to teach him. I'm doing it to teach myself what boundaries look like. He's a great teacher, this being, her, even with a female friend, this happened. Her, him, whatever, this being in front of me is teaching me how to honor my own boundaries. I'm not waiting for other people to honor them for me. The only way to honor my own boundaries is when I follow through with my own boundaries, right? So this is the best way in which you can set your boundaries with narcissists without saying a single word. And if you're able to do it with narcissists, you're going to be able to do it with everyone in the world. Why? Because you're going to have value. You're just adding value to you. It's irrelevant whether they appreciate it, accept it, or follow through with it. It becomes irrelevant because then you have your own back. And that's the beauty when a narcissist is in your life, is basically poking the hell out of you to find yourself, find your worth, and stand in your truth every moment of every second that they are in your life driving you crazy. They're poking the fear out of you. It's your choice to see the fear and say, you know what? I wait for nobody to give me my worth. I'm going to do it for myself, for me, no matter how scared I am and terrified. And my heart is beating here. I choose to try it out. I need to try it out. What does it mean? And trust me, when you do it a few times, you start to feel better about you. And they shrink in size. They're no more up on a pedestal and like these amazing, terrifying people you're scared of. All of a sudden, they start to shrink in size and you become an equal to them. So now they're not as relevant. Their opinion isn't as relevant. Them crossing the boundaries, it's their problem. They're losing you, right? And they don't want to lose you. That's why in a lot of narcissistic relationships, even friends, they never are the ones to cut you off until the very end if they have new supply. That's like intense. But in general, you're always wondering, why do they stay with me if they hate me so much? But they stay because you're so glowy. You're like this beautiful, sparkly trinklet of joy that they just are like, I can't let you go. I'm going to abuse you, but I can't let you go. And you have no boundaries. It's amazing. You keep talking for years, talking. It's great. You're giving me great things to use on the days I want to give you the silent treatment, gaslight you, manipulate you, project on you. You're giving me all the tools I can just throw back in your face. And then you're going to believe me because I'm using your words against you. Is that making sense?
Wow. Oh my gosh, I love how you explain things so much. It just clicks. Wow. Yeah. That's so cool because I've had experiences like that where it's so interesting that you say that because it's like we feel like as these empaths, it's inside us, we're so like insecure. We so much don't want to hurt anyone's feelings and we don't want ours hurt. And it's like we're feeling like we're doing things wrong and we over, I don't know, just everything is just it's just not true inside. It's like these lies we tell ourselves. It's just like this self-abuse that we do and these we just don't feel good enough inside or secure enough inside or whatever. But we have everything. We are these beautiful souls and these, and they're just like they want it so much, but yet we have this fear of like, I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it, whatever they're giving us. And so we like hold ourselves back. We're not ourselves. We don't speak our truth because of fear of they're going to abandon us. They're going to let us go. And it's like you don't realize that you're more likely the one to leave them than them leave you. They are not going to let you go. You're everything. I don't know. It's just interesting the way that you say it. It's like if we
It
could
is
just believe in
interesting.
ourselves and trust ourselves and believe like and give ourselves some credit and realize we don't have to walk on eggshells. In fact, we can just say it how it is and use the way that they talk and just short and sweet and I want this and I need this and just if we I've had that experience too where I'm like talking to someone and all of a sudden they just kind of doze off or go somewhere else or start talking to someone else or whatever and I just like stop talking and they never came back and I was like, "Okay." I just realized like I wanted to share with them because I wanted to share, but the moment that they didn't act interested in it, I'm like, I'm not talking just to talk. So if like they're not interested in hearing me speak, I'm not going to speak. And I've noticed like getting my power back of me just like, okay, I guess we're not talking about this anymore. They don't seem interested. I'm not going to finish what I'm saying unless they come back and are like, oh, hey, sorry, my phone just rang, but I want to hear what you were saying. Will you please finish that? And there's a lot of times they don't. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But I don't get attached to it. I don't get my feelings hurt and be like, oh, they don't like me. There's something wrong with me. I'm boring. What I talk about is dumb. Like I used to like beat myself up with it. And I think a lot of empaths do that. They're just so hard on themselves and they feel so bad. Like, oh, I did something wrong. What do I need to do? I need to change we're always trying to change to please them rather than just be like, they can't take me for how I am and how I speak and the way I communicate, then I'm not going to waste my breath on them anymore. And it actually feels really good. Now I don't get my feelings hurt. And when it happens, it's like, okay, well, I guess you don't get to hear the rest of the story. It was actually a really good story. You're missing out, dumbass. Your problem, not mine. It just feels better. I'm not making it
Yes,
my problem. So anyway, just
yes, yes, it does feel better. And it's very important to recognize that the body also holds trauma. So, as much as our memories hold trauma, our bodies hold trauma. So when you're having that traumatizing experience where you're like you have your boundaries set in your head, you know that, wait, this person doesn't look at me like what Mel's saying, like they're not really talking to you, they're busy doing something else. You feel irrelevant. Well, I have it in my head that I'm going to set this boundary that once this happens, I will walk away. You will find that your body is not moving. It's not going to take the action because the trauma fear is in the body. So the fact that you are going to talk yourself to walk out, you're changing the coding of the trauma in the body, which is really important to change the code in the body, right? Because you're actually providing it with a different action, something that you'd never done before, neither with your parents, your family, your partner, nothing. You're teaching it a new response to trauma instead of freezing, instead of fighting, which we do to listen, right? And all that stuff, you're teaching it now. You're going to take an action of dignity. And so it's as if you're recoding the body. So that's why it's really important for this training to incorporate in your body. Even what Mel would do, where they would talk, she would be talking and they would ignore her. This happened to me a million times, right? They would ignore, and you go back and you're like, I will not dignify that with continuing the story to somebody who's uninterested. That is recoding the body because the body wants to fight for the attention, right? Or to run away and be like, oh, it's okay. I'll just shy down and ask them how was their day. Like, let it be about them. It's fine. They took the light. Let it be about them. That's the only time they will listen to me and give me attention is when they talk about themselves. So there, I let go of my boundaries. I don't even care about myself. But what she did, she recoded the body. She can still be where she is, not feel the pain, not reflect it back to her worth and be like, who cares? It takes practice. I'm sure from the get-go, the first time she tried it, it wasn't like, it's so easy. No, it took work. Like it takes you're recoding the system in your body out of the trauma to respond a new way. That's why not speaking words with a narcissist, the greatest gift you will give yourself is how do I let my body move out of the trauma phase and start to love itself by taking an action, taking this one action that respects me. Yeah.
yep.
So,
I
yeah.
love that.
Hmm.
I
So
think
I
that's all I
think,
need to share on that one. That was really
yeah,
good.
I think we're complete.
Okay. All right. So give us a thumbs up if you like this episode. Please subscribe so you can be updated on all our latest episodes. Make sure to check out, we have a link on our description of Buy Me a Coffee, where we have really great digital downloads that you can get to support you on your just your evolution journey of self-discovery that many of us are on. And we've got beautiful jewelry and products. I'm wearing some really, really gorgeous earrings right now. We've got stones, we've got gold, rose gold, silver, aromatherapy jewelry, lots of really fun stuff you're going to want to check out. Earrings, bracelets, necklaces, stuff like that. Make sure to comment. We love to connect with you guys. So please comment on this episode. Let us know what your takeaway was from this. If there's anything you can resonate with, or if you have any comments or, other ideas or suggestions you have for episodes, things like that. So just connect with us. We'll make sure to respond back to you personally as well. And then make sure to watch our next episode. We're going to link it right now that kind of goes along with this, being gaslighted by narcissists and how to break free from that. So we just want to build you guys up to come back home and take your power back. So we'll make sure to see you on the next episode. Thanks.